Antoine said, gesturing in the other direction through the window. "See there?" Marick looked first and then stepped back for Alicia to take a glance as relief flooded over him. "We're not the only one being checked." "Which means," Alicia added, turning back to them, "they have no idea where we are." "And I'm going to keep it that way," Antoine replied with a wink. They darted along the main passage, but hearing a clanking sound ahead, Antoine cursed under his breath and moved to the left, going past a hold where a soldier was already questioning several miners who would be using the new space station as a jumping-off port to asteroids farther out. "You have somewhere in mind?" Marick asked in a whisper, and Antoine simply nodded, motioning them down a level. They descended into a hole via a staircase, then moved along a line of cargo to what appeared to be a regular wall. "In here," Antoine said, placing his hand against the wall. Biometrics read his palm, and then what had seemingly been a wall was suddenly a door. "Smuggling. Sometimes the corporations can be stingy, and a bit of black market trading on the side is needed to make ends meet." Voices came from not far off, so Antoine quickly shooed them in and gave a confident wave before closing them in darkness. The space they were in was the size of a small closet and quite dark, but it was light enough to see the shapes of various boxes that likely contained more smuggled goods. Marick first heard his own breathing, and then Alicia's. Could he really be here with her? The woman he had thought of as Alice the Hacker, his target, not so long ago? How ironic if he made it to this point only to be yanked away from her. He wouldn't let it happen. He couldn't. As the enemy approached, he felt his blood boiling and his muscles tensing. He was overcome with the urge to burst through the door and smash their skulls in, destroying them in every way for ever thinking they could take him from Alicia, or for causing them to be in this situation in the first place. New Origins had taken almost everything from him that ever mattered, and they would pay. His senses became more intensified, and he could smell them out there, sense their movement, and hear the sounds of their beating hearts. He wanted blood, and by God, he would have it. He took a step forward, prepared to do whatever it took to end this right there, even if it meant losing his life. He still wore the exoskeleton with its teleporter, and Alicia had her force field. Perhaps there was a way they could survive this after all. Alicia's hand gently touched his arm, and it was like a floodgate had let out all the rage and hatred. He turned to her, blinking, and put a hand to his brow at the realization that he had been about to do something incredibly foolish. Acting out at that point would have put the whole ship at risk. And going against a group of PD soldiers who might be trained to his level? Not smart. "There," she mouthed, pointing. Now that his eyes had better adjusted to the darkness, he saw that the space they were in actually led into a narrow chamber, like a hidden passageway along the walls. They were able to pause at a bend, listening as the soldiers asked about the door they'd somehow discovered. Antoine was making excuses, but he didn't really need to. They'd be gone by the time the soldiers opened it, and the passageway wasn't readily noticeable. From the exploring they'd done earlier, Marick knew that going this way could lead to the deck, and just before that must be the control room and comms. Alicia seemed to have had this exact thought, because she motioned him on in that direction. "We just need to lay low," Marick hissed. "No." She motioned him on with no room for debate, and he wondered if she'd always bossed him around like that. He kind of liked it. Together they went on, pausing briefly, as they heard two more soldiers pass by on the other side of the wall. "It's over there," Alicia said, motioning to metal rungs that stuck out from the wall. Dim blue light was seeping in from the cracks in the walls, giving them greater visibility. "I'm going up." He considered arguing, but glanced back. The voices were closer, though he couldn't tell if they were coming from the room they'd just vacated, or if they discovered the passageway after all. If soldiers did come their way, it would be better not to be there when they arrived. "I'll be right behind you," he said, seeing that she was already climbing.